Hello and good afternoon, everyone. This is Paul Fisher, and today we'll be looking at the Salesforce Winter 18 release, which went live overnight last night. Specifically, we'll take a look at Lightning for Outlook and Lightning Sync for G Suite. So before we get started, let's have a quick rundown of the Salesforce release notes. If you navigate to releasenotes.docs.salesforce.com, you'll be able to view those. And the Lightning for Gmail section is always under the Sales section. And we'll go to Google integration. So one of the big themes in Winter 18 are email templates, the ability to um, really easily insert an email template in Salesforce email template into an email that you're composing in Gmail. So previously you could do this with a Lightning template. With Winter 18, you'll be able to do this with a classic template. There are also a few kind of workflow things that have been enhanced as well as part of this process. Um, we now have a tasks component in Lightning for Gmail as well, where you can create new tasks, which you've been able to do, but more importantly, been able to now view your tasks and edit them in line within Lightning for Gmail. The third item is kind of behind the scenes. It's a search feature which allows you to more easily relate um, your emails to the right Salesforce records. We won't spend too much time on that. And then the fourth item here was the Einstein, which I will not be showing today. And then when we go to Lightning Sync, there are some very critical updates here that you need to update to your existing Lightning Sync for G Suite implementation, specifically giving the calendar API scope the ability to edit. As you'll note with this Winter 18 release, uh, events can now be synced two ways between your Google Calendar and Salesforce. So that's a big enhancement. Previously, it was only one direction. I think those are some of the key items. So without further ado, let's get started and get our hands dirty and start looking at some of these enhancements with Winter 18. So I'm here in my enterprise Google account. I have the Lightning for Gmail plugin already installed. And I also have a Winter 17 release, or sorry, Winter 18 release or Salesforce org in Lightning. Okay, so let's start with basically basic use case of composing an email. So let's say we want to compose an email here. You'll notice now at the top there's an email templates component. This is this looks the look and feel of Lightning for Gmail in Winter 18 is a little bit different. It looks much more, it pops a lot more, and visually it's much more pleasing. So we'll click email templates here, and now you'll note a few things. We have some sendy to related to. So these fields here allow you to choose basically the contact that's going to be involved in using the merge fields within that email template. So you need to choose, if you type this in your email here, let's say I do Tim Bass. So if you do that in advance, so let's say you have Tim Bass in your composer here, and I select email templates, it's going to automatically populate Tim Bass here. Now, if there are multiple records, you'd be able to choose between them, which is one of the nice new search functionality that's coming in Winter 18. And you could even X out of that and say, you wanted to create a new contact or choose someone else, you could certainly do that as well. We'll stick with Tim Bass. Um, and then we have to choose if we want to relate it to an account, a opportunity, or a case. In this case, we'll choose Tim's account. It does, so that one does not automatically fill in because you may want to do an opportunity, an account, or a case. So that gives you the option there. Okay, so the next step is to choose which template you want to use. Like I said, you have the option for Lightning templates, which was previously available in the last summer 17 release. And then you also have the capability now to choose classic templates. So in our drop down here, we have My Lightning Templates, All Lightning Templates. We have the classic templates, both personal, unfiled, and any other folders you have. So let me just select one of these new classic templates that we now have access to, and I will choose this marketing product inquiry response. Okay, so now that text was put in. As you'll notice, the merge field from Tim Bass's contact record was pre-filled there as well. So you'll want to verify that that all went through correctly. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and click the send button. All right, so the message was sent. One thing you want to do here is to make sure that email makes its way back into Salesforce. So we're going to click this up button here, and we'll also click the account button. All right, so that is using a classic email template with Lightning for Gmail. As I mentioned, you can use your Lightning templates as well. Now, one of the big wins with the Winter 18 release, and as it relates to email templates, is the ability that when you insert a email template into an existing thread, that doesn't overwrite all of your past history. So those who have been using Lightning and sending emails with directly from Salesforce within the Lightning experience themselves, notice this overwriting thing as well. It was also present in Gmail and any email templates you were using with Lightning email templates in Gmail with Lightning for Gmail. Um, and that was causing some unintended behavior because it would create, instead of when you send a response with a template, it would um, create a new thread and really just a lot of disjointed communication there. But so good news, that is improved and fixed with Winter 18. So let me go ahead and go over here to a dummy email account. I'm going to send a test message and then respond to that message with a uh, a template, and we can see that all the history will be preserved. All right. So I received this inbound email from Tim. Maybe the first thing I'll do is to log that inbound email to Salesforce. I could even create a new opportunity from within Lightning for Gmail. And as you'll notice, this the subject line gets automatically added as the name field in this opportunity. We're going to attach this to Acme, which is Tim's account, and we'll put the close date as the end of the month. And we'll just put this in a needs analysis stage, and we'll say it's 50,000. Okay, so let me go ahead and save that opportunity. The reason I created that opportunity was that I wanted to relate this inbound email both to Tim's contact record as well as his opportunity. So let me go ahead and do that. And there. So if you want to see that email that just got related in Salesforce, you can drill down within Lightning for Gmail and go to the activity section. You'll see that right here. And you can see the HTML body and everything that was in the email. You can also pop this out and view that email directly within the Lightning experience. Okay, so now we have that inbound email logged. As I mentioned, we want to use an email template to respond to Tim. So when I click into reply here, we should have our email templates Lightning component come up at the top of the Lightning for Gmail plugin. We'll go ahead and click that. We'll choose Acme in case we want to reference any account merge fields, for example. And I'm just going to choose, in this case, a Lightning email template. Okay, so we have our Lightning email template inserted. It merged Tim's name, a few other attributes. The key thing to note here is that when we click these three dots, we can see that the past email history is included in the thread. So let me now go ahead and send this. So I sent it. Let me view this message. All right. So it looks like that. So also when I chose the account, it looks like that was what related it back to that account. Let me actually pull that from the account and put it in the opportunity. Just want all my communication history within that opportunity from this point forward. Okay, so now let me go over back to Tim's email inbox here. So now we have, it is a new thread, but we do have that past history here in the body of that email. So that's one really nice feature. So if you're using an email template, it will create a new thread, but you'll have all the history. Let me try one thing here, see if we can get it within the same thread. That's really my preference. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it or not. If I could just edit the subject. Oh, let me go to my inbox. All right, doesn't look like we can do that. Really edit the subject in any way here. So the subject in this email template, for example, is uh, its response. So he sent me an email with quote request. I sent him an email back with, you could say response or response. You could even put response for quote request. But it is two threads, but you do have the history, which you didn't have before prior to Winter 18. All right. So moving on, one thing you can do now within Lightning for Gmail is actually create email templates. So you can just compose an email, you can type the information. So let me just say response for quote, reaching out. I'll have the quote to you over to you by the end of the day. All right. So what we can do here is actually make this an email template. So we would go into our email templates component again at the top. We're going to do save as new template. I'm going to say response for quote, and this is a contact type of email template. Save. Oh, inactive HTML content. All right, looks like I have some invalid content in here. Let me try to get rid of that. Let's see. My email signature will all and be there anyways. There we go. Okay. So now we just created a new template from Gmail within Lightning for Gmail. Now the alternative previously is to go into the specific object that you want to create a new email template on. You'd come in here to the Lightning email component, and what you would do is you have this insert creator update template right here, and you just click that. You could put in your text there and do a save as a new template. It's basically the same process, but from within Salesforce. So now we have that ability in Gmail. Awesome. All right. I mentioned the email templates now not overwriting the email thread history, which is great. And now let's take a look at Salesforce tasks, which we can manage from in Lightning for Gmail. So we have our tasks component here. We can click and drill into it. Looks like nothing's due today. We have a few list views that we can work with here. Anything due today, stuff you've already completed in case you want to have a retrospective on that. Anything overdue, high importance or anything overdue you need to get caught up with and before you tackle today's. And anything delegated, maybe you are one of two or three people on a task, so that's what that would be. You could even create tasks in here within the quick find or the quick action rather. So let's see, I will make this a task for the end. Actually, let me do this. Do this for Tuesday. I'm going to relate this to Tim. Actually, if I do it for today, the 14th, I am going to make a task to send him a quote by the end of the day. Acme and not started's fine. All right. I'm just going to say send quote request. That's fine. So you'll notice it's pulling in basically the name of the last email still. We had that with our opportunity. We get it with our task too here. Save. All right. So now once we send that quote to Tim, what we can do is, we would send it. We could even include that file, and we could upload our, attach it to the email. We could log that email to Salesforce with that attachment, log it against the opportunity, right? Then we'd come in here to our tasks. We would check it. It's done. All right. So now we can look at our completed tasks, and we can see here that this task is completed, status is completed instead of not started now. Okay. All right, so now we have some more technical things. We're going to shift over to Lightning Sync for G Suite. So, like as I mentioned, one of the big things is the ability for events to sync both ways. And then also with events, we're getting the capability to, when you send out a calendar invite and someone responds with a accepted, declined, or tentative, for that to be reflected back in not only in the Google Calendar event, which is standard, but also that goes all the way back to the event that syncs back to Salesforce. All right, so before we have a look at that, we have a few technical updates that we need to make here. I'm going to switch back um, to our release notes. So one of the things we need to do now is switch the scope item from basically what was a read-only scope item to a read-write scope item. So previously it looks like this, dot read-only. We just need to chop the dot read-only off of that calendar scope item. So where you're going to do this is in your G Suite admin console. So let me get us there. All right. So once you get into your admin console, just copy and paste this, manage API client access. That's what you need. All right. And so one of the things you'll have to note too when you make this update, so I already have it there. So you'll notice that this will if you add just this calendar one and go like this and put in your client name and go to authorize, it's gonna that you're only gonna have that scope item. So you need to make sure that when you add this new calendar without the dot read only, you also need to include the previous scopes as well, which is the /m8 feeds and the contacts dot read only. So make sure to do that. Add them all, comma space and then Control V to paste all of these three items in there. Need to have them all within this one line. Click authorize. Should be good. So the key here is it will actually say calendar read write. That will keep your calendar sync in tip-top shape for this winter 18 release. Okay. So now that some of that boring maintenance is taken care of, let's talk about syncing events both ways and the attendee accept decline info. All right, so let me go ahead and send a calendar invite. Switch over to my calendar here. Actually, I have it open. And let me make an event for, let's do tomorrow, and let's do 9 a.m. All right, and I am going to have a meeting to discuss generator specs. Go ahead and click edit to go directly into this event. That's fine. We're going to add Tim here as one of our contacts. Now this is pulling from Google Contacts. If you have Lightning Sync set up, you already have all of your Salesforce contacts syncing and brought over with your Google Contacts, so you can easily and quickly add your Salesforce contacts as guests into your events here. Um, it's better to create your event from your Google Calendar because it's going to send that contact the meeting invite. If you create it in Salesforce, to my knowledge, Salesforce is not going to be kicking out any meeting um, meeting invite to block that place on your contacts calendar. So this is the way to do it. All right. Just say Starbucks on Connecticut Ave, and let's see, what else do we want? We have the discuss generator specs. This is all looking good. Let's go ahead and save. We're going to invite our external guest and send it. And now let's go click back into that event. So one of the really neat features with Lightning for Gmail um, is the ability now to push that event over to Salesforce. Um, you have a few different settings within your Lightning sync configuration. You can sync all of your events and not have to do this, or you can choose which ones you want to push over. I prefer that so my dentist appointments and other personal events don't end up in Salesforce. So very simple to do. We're going to just click the up arrow here. And I would also want this event on my opportunity. So we'll do that and we're all set. All right, so let's go ahead and open this event inside of Salesforce. Get rid of some of these other tabs. Okay, so one important thing you'll see here is the attendees field. By default, this is not on the event page layout. You need to add it to the page layout. So you can see that the organizer, I have a green checkbox. I've by default accept my own events. Otherwise, they wouldn't. I would just delete the event. So that is checked. We have our related to, which is the opportunity. We have the related to, which is our contact. All right. And we have our date and time, 9 a.m. on the 15th. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is going to work in this demo, but we can give it a try. I played with this earlier, wasn't working the way I expected it. So I get my calendar invite from Paul. I'm going to click yes and accept it. All right. So now obviously within the Google, I get the email, I get the, if I refresh this calendar event, so Tim Bass is checked here. Let's see if it shows up. We might have to wait a minute. It was not working earlier. Um, so it's not working right. Yeah, I don't think it's working right now, but that's the concept. I have a few things to work through with the attendees functionality still. But just a quick sidebar in case you want to add that attendees field to your page layout. Go into the object manager, go into your page layouts, click edit, and this attendees field will be up here in your fields area. You need to drag it onto the page, click save. All right. So that's the attendees functionality. Let's look at syncing events both ways. So previously it was strictly a Google to Salesforce, if I remember correctly. Now you can do both ways. So let's go into our, if you want to set this up and activate this, you need to set it up within your sync configuration in the Salesforce setup menu. Click edit. Within our sync configuration, we have the event section at the very bottom here. You need to change this. It was probably Google to Salesforce previously. Let me not do that. You need to move it sync both ways, define your conflict behavior, and then you need to specify which Google events was synced to Salesforce. This was already there. You don't need to worry about it. I had the users events users select. That was that up arrow that I clicked when I was in that specific event. Otherwise, you can do all. which again, not a huge fan of. I have dentist appointments and other stuff on this calendar, which I do not want to go over. Okay, so let me go ahead and click save. All right, and then this is for the contact sync. And then we have some event filters, so it's going to be today and later, which is fine. All right, save. Okay, so now we have two-way event sync set up with the new feature in Winter 18. Let's now go into Salesforce, create an event, and watch it sync back to our Google Calendar. Let me move back over to the Sales app. And we have a calendar feature within the Lightning experience, which is very nice. Let me see where that is. View calendar. All right. So it's going to sync today or later, either way. So we need to do, let's do 15th. Let's do a 10 a.m. Let's call this the Washington, D.C. Salesforce user group. All right. And we will do, I mean, well, we can relate it, look, if we want to relate it back to a contact. I'll show you how you can still kick out that um, email, the invite from the Gmail side if you create it from Salesforce, on the Salesforce side. Throw this against our opportunity. So let's search for it. Do we need to, let's pop over to our opportunities, quote, request for generator with acne. All right. Date, time reminder. Nah, it's fine. All right, so we created that within the Lightning experience inside of Salesforce. So we'll give it a minute here. Should be showing up here. Oops. All right, so we'll let that do its thing. In the meantime, yeah, that attendee is not coming in for whatever reason. So let's go over to our status page. Sync status. All right, looks like it says linking for whatever reason. Hmm. Calendar read write. All right, that all looks fine. Hmm. Looks like it is assigned to an active Lightning sync. Google's recognizing it. Something is linking still. That might explain the attendees syncing back as well, having some issues. me go over to this classic setup menu and have a look. Okay. All right, so I can begin to troubleshoot this. Let's see. We have our sync configuration, syncing both ways. That's fine. Let's go to our sync setup. Let's go ahead and give this connection a test. All right, we're connected to both, fine. Okay. And it looked like our events from Gmail were going over. Okay. Let me go ahead and do a quick contact test as well here. Gonna go and add a new contact. Add. All right. Let me make sure that this contact is in the Salesforce sync group. All right, so we'll troubleshoot the contact sync as well. May have a few issues. I don't know if it's the recent go live of Winter 18, but or just something specific within my setup. Looks like we're successfully connected. We're just not having the sync go through. Okay. All right. Well, I think that pretty much covers it for the changes for Lightning Sync as well as the Lightning for Gmail. Hope you all enjoyed this. I'll probably be doing another one of these focusing on Service Cloud. Service Cloud had a huge number of features that went live with the Winter 18 release for Lightning specifically. Um, you know, Service Cloud is truly ready to be implemented in the Lightning experience, which is very exciting. So I'll be doing another one of these webinars on Service Cloud Lightning, so stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for watching.